so now we're going to take a look at how we go about adding colour to our pop art quarter. Okay, so there's a couple of different colourways that you could use to do this. You all have the same sets of colour pencils as me, so you will all have an orange in your pack, and your orange is the first one you can go for. So this is not a complete rule of thumb, but generally in pop art portraits they have dots for the skin, because that's usually the part they want to make look lightest. So they will use dots for the skin. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm starting off drawing myself a couple of dots, and I'm doing them with orange. Okay, but that will make you look very orangey. So if you don't want to have your portrait looking orange, you could choose to use a yellow ochre instead, which is like the mix between yellow and brown instead. What I find works quite well is I find a little mix of both of them makes a really nice colour. So you can see I'm not really pressing too hard with them. I'm keeping it quite light because it is a skin tone, but I'm trying to make sure that my dots are nice and evenly spaced. And they're a nice, even though I'm doing it light, I'm not leaving like any scribbly sections or white gaps in. Okay, and you would literally just continue working through the skin, whatever colour you've chosen. We could even do it with a darker brown. Whichever one. Working through, trying to do those dots, and you can see I'm doing it in an order. Okay, you can see me working through in an order. I even think like mixing a little bit of orange in with the brown makes a quite nice one as well. Okay, so once you've done that, then what you're going to do is you're going to move on and you're going to start doing things like the lips. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little taster of each bit, and then I'm going to go in and finish mine off on a time lapse so you get to see it all. But for the lips, I'm going to colour them in a sort of solid colour. Now, often with pop art they'll do things really bright and really bold, but then we'll leave some big glossy sort of white highlights in things. So I'm going to colour around the edge dark, and then towards the centre what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade that out and make it lighter, so I can leave a nice sort of white highlight towards the centre of the lip. And as we come towards the middle there, I'll colour it in a little bit more to make it look like it's coming together. Okay, so that's my example of that one. Then the hair, I would literally just do that in solid colouring, going for a really bright colour because pop art is all about the brightness. So I've gone for a really bright yellow. You might choose to do it a strong brown, or maybe even a bit of brown and reddy mixed together to make that kind of colour. Whatever you like, just colour it in nice and solid in a block. Okay, and then for the claws again, we don't have to worry too much about tone. You can leave some white highlights in the hair and the claws if you want to, if you feel skillful enough, just like we did with the lips. But otherwise, just colour it in a really nice, strong, flat block. Okay, not worrying too much about creating gradients and blends because they are famous for using big, bold, flat blocks of colour. Okay, now the bit that's going to bring it all together, the bits that's going to make it really look like a pop art design, is your big, black, bold outline. Okay, so around everywhere where you've got a pencil line or an outline, you are going to go and draw that in a nice big bold thick outline, so you can see the thickness that I'm going to around the edge of my lips there. If you are feeling particularly skillful, what you could do with yours is you could do what I've done here. So I've made a nice big bold thick black outline there, and I've made this line thinner. If you're feeling even more challenging and like you really want to go for something exceptional, you could even start your line thin and then taper it out to make it go thicker, which we call line weight, which you will remember from Vex if you were in the online lessons, okay? And this will start to really make your work fit in with that pop art theme, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed the video up and you can watch me complete mine, so then you will have a full example of what your work should look like by the end of the lesson.
I begin to